So, as you guys have probably seen, many states are starting to put religious teachings back in school curriculum. Louisiana with prayer, Oklahoma with the Bible in class, and even my great home state of Texas just approved biblical-related curriculum for all Texas students. But the big question many people are asking, is the Bible in public schools constitutional? Well, what many Americans don't realize is that this idea of secularism and not teaching the Christian Bible in public schools is a relatively new idea. In fact, at one point in America, every state taught the Christian Bible in public schools. It wasn't until a Supreme Court ruling in the 1960s that the Bible was removed. So that means that for over 300 years of American education, biblical principles were taught to our nation's youth. And even the founders were persistent on having the Bible taught in schools. For instance, one founder was Benjamin Rush, who not only signed the Declaration, but who also served in 3 presidential administrations, authored numerous school textbooks, and was even a university professor and medical doctor. In fact, it was Rush who played a pivotal role in establishing 5 American colleges, 3 of which still exist today. Well, after the ratification of the Constitution, it was Benjamin Rush who proposed the idea of having nationwide public schools, which of course earned him the title as Father of Public Schools under the U.S. Constitution. Well, in one of his famous educational policy papers, Rush gave 12 defensible arguments on the use of the Bible as a school book and why it should always be the primary textbook in American education. And he even closed that work with a warning on what would happen to America if the Bible was ever removed from public schools. In contemplating the political institutions of the United States, I'll lament that if we remove the Bible from public schools, we'll waste so much time and money punishing crime and take such little pains to prevent them. For this divine book, above all others, favors that equality among mankind, that respect for just laws, and those sober and frugal virtues which constitute the soul of our government. So according to Rush, the Bible was the only sure means to prevent crime. And if America ever reached the point to where we didn't teach the Bible in schools, then America would waste so much time and money punishing crime, which of course sounds like a statement extremely accurate for the America that we're all living in. But you see, Rush firmly believed that the Bible should be the cornerstone of American education. And another founder was Fisher Ames, an instrumental figure in the framing of the Bill of Rights, even expressed his concerns about the growing number of books being introduced in public schools. You see, he explained that each time a new book was added to the classroom, it would only reduce the time students had left to study the Bible, an action to which Ames strongly objected to. Why then, if these books for children must be retained, as they will be, should not the Bible regain the place it once held as a school book? Its morals are pure, its examples captivating and noble, and the reference for the sacred book that is thus early impressed lasts long, and probably, if not impressed in infancy, never takes firm hold of the mind. So Fisher Ames, the primary author for the First Amendment, warned that the Bible must never be pushed to the back of the classroom, much less taken out of schools altogether. And many other founding fathers agreed, such as John Quincy Adams, who was a U.S. president, a congressman, and a professor at Harvard University, had also stated, "To a man of liberal education, with regard to the history contained in the Bible, it is not so much praiseworthy to be acquainted with it as it is shameful to be ignorant of it." And even Henry Lawrence, a president of Congress, also stated that the Bible is a necessary part of a polite education. But the big question is, was this constitutional? Now, most people would immediately rush to separation between church and state. But what the Constitution actually says is that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Now, of course, many people believe that this clause means separation of church and state, and to some small extent it does, but not in the way you might think. You see, the first part is addressed to Congress. So Congress can make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Congress, not the state. Remember, there's a federal government and then there's a state government, which of course is probably why the states were able to teach Christianity in public schools for over 300 years of American history in the first place. So then does that mean that each state can make its own law requiring you to be a Christian, or a Muslim, or a Hindu? No, because the second part is can make no law. Even if this clause is applied to the states, adding the Bible to a state curriculum is not a law, nor is it breaking a law, because as we just covered, Congress can't make a law prohibiting the free exercise of religion. Also notice the Establishment Clause as a whole. It says Congress can make no law respecting an establishment of religion. It doesn't say there can be no establishment of religion. Also notice that the two restrictions in the Establishment Clause are to keep government restricted, not religion. So constitutionally, along with tradition, if the American people or a particular state want the Bible taught in public schools, then the proper response for government should be to support that endeavor, not eliminate it, or worse, regulate it. Remember, it's freedom of religion, not from religion, which of course is probably why founder John Adams said, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." So if our Constitution only works with the religious people, then how can people learn to become religious if we don't have it in public schools? So yes, these actions by the states are 100% constitutional. But why would these states think it necessary to teach the Christian religion in schools in the first place? Well, Jesus probably explained it best when he said that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from God's mouth. Which is a really odd thing to say, but when we analyze current statistics, ever since the removal of the Bible in schools has only led to drastic results. For instance, when it comes to birth rates for unwed girls between the ages of 15 to 19 years old, for decades prior to 1962, birth rates for unwed teenage girls had remained relatively stable, but after 1962, immediately skyrocketed by 400%. Also, birth rates for junior high girls had also been low, but after 1962, pregnancies for girls ages 10 to 14 also shot up by 460%. And now America has the highest teenage pregnancy rate than any other nation today. When it comes to sexually transmitted diseases among students, prior to the removal of the Bible in schools were relatively low, but after 1962, had dramatically skyrocketed. When you look at divorce rate, according to federal statistics, had been steadily declining, but after 1962, it also skyrocketed. And now the United States is #1 in the world in divorce rate. Also, the number of single-parent families has also exploded, reaching almost triple its previous levels prior to 1962. And even unmarried couples living together has increased tenfold by over 1,000%. Or when you look at violent crime, in America, violent crime had remained stable for decades, but after 1962, violent crime has soared over 470%, with America becoming one of the top nations for crimes committed. So if we go back to Jesus' teaching, the very design of man is completely dependent on God's word. And if we continue this trend of excluding God's word from education, well then the science behind these statistics are completely justified. Now we cover this topic more in depth in our online course and have already begun our pre-launch, so if you would like to learn more, just click the link below to get access. But guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, but for now, I will catch you guys later. Religious teachings back in school curriculums.